Two, three.
Oh, cut it out. God, this cat. Okay, oops.
Hello.
Sorry.
That's okay. Hello, hello, hello. We talk about our animals today. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing amazing. I hope you're having a great time. I know some of you guys are still asleep. You're going to see this after you wake up. Oh, I hear echo. That's me. That's me. Hold on. I got to. Yeah, hold on. I had to do that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got it on playing on another channel. I'm like, okay. I'm sorry. That's me. That's
Um,
me. My bad. So yes, I know you're gonna see this at another time. Probably when we're asleep, because it's what 9 hours ahead of the states. It's what 1 o'clock here is probably maybe about what 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning there. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the bell so that you know when we come up with a new live, so that way you can tune in later. We are talking about an amazing topic today, and we're talking about recognizing the Most High's voice. Because I know every time we hear voice, I heard individuals say, "Oh, that's God. God told me blah blah blah. God told me blah blah blah." And then some things you look and you be like, "Did he really say that?" Because you look at the word and it goes strictly against what the word says. So we're going to
mhm.
talk a little bit about that. Even moving abroad, did we really hear God's voice to do this? Did we really hear God's voice? And if we did, what about if you have a spouse, if you have children, if you have teenagers, if you have babies, and your babies can't come, or if you're married, you're not married, you have a spouse, you don't have a spouse, but you have you went through a divorce and you have a small baby. Are you supposed to leave? What happens when that person says, "Oh no, you can't take the child"? Do you leave the child? Do you still come? Are we hearing God's voice, and how can we recognize it, and how do we line this thing up to make sure that we're recognizing it? And Lorraine, we're going to let you introduce yourself and your foundation,
Yeah,
and then we're going to go
yeah.
from there. So I'm giving you the
Yes.
floor.
Okay, well, thank you. My name is Lorraine Brown, and I am the CEO of Graceful Guidance Ministries. And I have a YouTube channel called Graceful Guidance, and also my website's down below there. It says gracefulguidanceministries.com. And what I do is I help women in transition with life changes, such as homelessness or recovery. And then also, too, I work with families who have special needs children. Currently, my new project here in Mauritius is I'll be working with Cataris, which is a day center for women who are coming out of extreme abusive situations. And I use that word because that's the best way I can describe that. And also working with the children there that come after school in their literacy program to help them with English. So I'm really excited about that because that's a new project. And anytime the Father gives us an opportunity to care for those that he biblically asks us to care for, it's a privilege and honor and must not be taken lightly. So I'm very excited about that.
Absolutely. I was on mute. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to start out. Okay. How did you know? How did you know that you were actually hearing the Most High's voice when you were led here? And how do you know he said here? How did
Yeah,
you know that?
yeah.
What made you know that beyond a doubt that this is what it was for me? How did you know
Okay.
that?
Well, for me personally, and this is how he led me, um, I knew that he was doing something when he asked me to get my passports. I didn't know that he was necessarily asking me to go to another country. Now, I will be transparent and tell you. So he told me to flee from her, um, but within that same breath, he never said to me that I was going away for good. So I want to be very transparent. Those were not the words he said to me. So for me, I knew that I was leaving and why I was leaving because of the state of our country and the layers of that. And for me, it was kind of more of an inner click. Now, because I do believe that we need to sit with things because we don't want to be in our own heads. We don't want to have our own voice. We need to make sure it is the Most High's voice. I sat with it for a couple of months and really chewed on it to make sure I wasn't making a choice out of fear, out of emotion, out of panic, that I wasn't going off of someone else's word, which is extremely important because two people can get the same word and the Father still have them not on the same path. Um, so I really sat with it. I chewed on it. I didn't think it would be very well received with those around me, especially with sounding the alarm. I was very careful about that. But for me, it required fasting and praying, and it was a slow progression of confirmation, not an immediate overnight. It was just something I knew needed to happen as he brought different aspects of what was going on in our country and with my own personal situation. I knew what was going on. I was pretty tired and frustrated, but I was building a business back home, caring for adults with special needs. So I didn't have any reason to leave. I mean, I was doing what I needed to do. Um, but at the same time, I kind of always knew that I would go to another country and do ministry and work. I just didn't know it would be in this way. So, but that's my own personal scenario. I know that for other people, that's not the case. They really are looking for somewhere to retire, and this is what they want to do. And, so everyone's situations are different. Mine might be in its own category by itself. So I don't know. That's for me, it was a progression of hearing his voice. And I didn't have fear. That was the other thing too. There was no fear behind what was going on. And in fact, it made kind of sense to me to do that. It seemed wild and crazy, but I'm not a person who's attached to things. I'm not attached to money. I'm not attached to possessions. That's just my personality. So for me, getting rid of everything, it was actually, as the process began of selling everything, I went real slow. And I was also open to his voice saying, you're not hearing me correctly, even in the midst of it. I was very careful about what timing he told me to leave. I didn't listen to anybody and their thoughts on that because I could not be leaving out of hypervigilancy. I was not going to do that. So I knew that if it was his will, it would be done peacefully, and he knew how to navigate me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now, we kind of, before the show, we were talking a little bit about spouses and
Yeah.
you're divorced, if you have children, if you have smaller kids, if you have older kids. If you heard the Most High say, Lorraine, you need to leave, and your child was 6 and you're divorced and, you have to do the custody and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Walk me through that. What would that feel like for you? Because I know your son is older, but what would be your thoughts?
At this season in my life, my first instinct would be to pray about it, because that is, if I'm hearing it, and I'm sure I'm hearing him. But with a mama's heart, this is my gut. Okay. This is where I'm coming with it. I don't believe the father would ask you to leave a baby. I just don't think he's going to do that. That baby needs you. Especially if a baby's nursing or any of those kinds of scenarios. I think he's going to provide a way in those cases. I really, truly do. If it be that, there's a custody issue and he's the God of the impossible. And so if it's something that for a fact you heard him say, pray about it, fast about it. If you've got a difficult other parent that maybe you're not married to and they're playing hardball, keep pressing in until you get that open door to go. Would I leave my baby? No. But for me personally, I would know that the father would not have me do that. He would make a way for me to bring my children with me that were small.
Would you stop planning? Even if you heard him say, okay, I want you to go. Would you stop planning because it's looking of what, and this is what we have to be very careful. We have to help people understand that just because what it looks like, it may not be. For me, if he tells me, okay, I want you to do this, Cassie, if I have a young baby and I had I was divorced or whatever, and we were splitting custody or having custody, because I know a lot of countries you have to have, even though you have total custody, you still have to have the note and all this other stuff to be able to bring the baby. For me, I'm going to keep planning.
Yes.
because this situation has got to line up to your word. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's
And
not
that's
that I'm going
exactly
to
what it
today.
is.
I'm still going to plan because I still want to be obedient. And he
Yeah.
knows that, okay, if you told me to leave, I think all of the sticks would be in the same row. I don't think
Yeah.
that it's going to be anything out of order. It's not going to be this, it's not going to be all crazy, looking haywire, looking crazy. I think it'll be to the point where it's lining up. And
Yeah.
even though it may not look right in the beginning, just by
Yeah.
your obedience, it could line up later. And I do believe that I will
Absolutely.
continue
Absolutely.
planning, but I will still continue praying to say, okay, Father, this, so, this is how this man is acting. This is what's going
Yeah.
on. I need you
Yes.
to, he knows what he needs to do. And your
Yes.
thing is, I'm putting him in your hands. So if you told me to leave, I really don't want to leave my 6-year-old. I won't want to leave a small baby. I really think, your word, I'm supposed to be nurturing this baby. I can't nurture this baby if I'm here and the baby's there. And I can't concentrate to do what you call me to do. If my child is there, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe that out of obedience, and if this is something he really wants you to do, he's going to line that thing up to
Yeah.
where either you and the baby will go, or you the baby and the daddy, or something. He's going to line that
Yeah.
thing up.
Yeah. He will line it up, and
It's
he'll
not
he'll
going to be
create the
all
timing. He will
exactly.
create
I
the
do.
timing, and I 100% agree with that. I would definitely just continue, just start checking off the boxes little bit by little bit, and just get it, and keep having some conversations with that spouse, or
Keep
the
sharing,
other
keep talking.
parent.
Yeah,
Now,
because
I
you
will
still
say,
his needs.
this, if I can be transparent. So, since I'm going to preach to the choir, which is myself, I have a special needs son that, to be honest, I very much regret how I handled that.
Mhm.
So, because I really didn't, because back home I have access to him. And so I wasn't thinking of the layers of impact for him as a vulnerable young man who has
Wow.
no idea what's going on in our country. And the center where he stays, because he's in a men's group home, they do not have the same belief systems I do. And they're liable to do any and everything.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have full guardianship of him as well as my former spouse. So, but my former spouse is not mentally and physically able after his stroke to care for him. And I brought this up. So I say this to tell other people to really, really make sure you get that taken care of. I honestly, that has been bothering me since I've left.
Okay.
And to avoid that, I would caution other people, just make sure you get those things taken care of. I didn't understand the impact.
How would you take care of that? Let's go through a little bit of that. What steps
Yes.
would they need to put in place to make sure that they have special needs? What things would you put in place if you could do it all over, just for the parents that do have special needs that are coming and they don't know what they need to do? Because you don't really know what to do until you're here. Then you go, oh my God, I need to do this, 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 and this. Let's talk a little bit about that. And this is all included in hearing. What were the steps, and what steps did you find out afterwards that you needed to take?
Okay. So because I already work in the special needs field, I was already looking months in advance. So I knew that there wasn't much here as it relates to special needs. So I kind of put it on the back burner, and I should not have done that. Unfortunately, here where we are at specifically, there is not a lot of special needs resources. Some of that's cultural. Some of it's just because they're just behind the 8 ball, 30 to 40 years, belief systems, all those things wrapped up in one. Now, in the case of my son, I would have to come here with the mindset that he's just going to be with me. They don't, they just don't have a lot here, and my son doesn't speak French. So, for example, the day center that I'm going to be working at, there is an autistic young man who's about the same age as one of my sons, and he can speak a little English and actually introduced himself to me. But he's at that center every day, but he speaks French, and he's been coming since he was.
Can you create that here, the need? It's possible. Because maybe you're here just for that need to be created.
Okay,
You see
so
there's something not here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the other piece too. Like, that's why I said cultural.
Okay.
The folks here are not like us back home. So for special needs, it's still very taboo here. They are not culturally, they don't think like we do, all inclusive. That's something that's starting to up and come. So on Facebook, you can see there's psychologists and people trying to break through a little bit, but there's those cultural barriers. It's very, I guess for lack of better words, let's use the word stubborn system.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Very hard to break through that old
Okay.
school way of thinking about special needs. Could you create it? Um, I've kind of backed off of that as of right now
Okay.
because I thought I could do that in certain ways. Again, it's very difficult because of some of the segregation that's still here.
Okay.
So with the South Africans, they have a lot of services. They're very high
Mhm.
cost. If you're going to get anything for your special needs child, there are schools here for them,
Mhm.
for younger children, not for people like my son who are adults.
Okay. Okay.
Um, all of that costs money, and you have to get approvals and different. You can't. For me to just say I'm going to create it, I would just have to just do it and have a WhatsApp group or something and hope that people come. It wouldn't be something where I could just have a building. I'd have to pay for those kinds of things. All of that costs money.
Could it be
Um,
where you start small? Okay, could it be where you start small, like you said, the WhatsApp group, let's get the group together first. If this
yeah.
was something that you really wanted to do, and you can do
Yeah.
donations, what that sound like it's a need. I'm just saying, and
I think
somebody
you and
said,
I both think it's a need, but I don't know that the Mauritians think it's a need. Do you see what I'm
well, look at
saying?
this. Well, we have somebody saying that yes, yes, it can. Yes, you can help. I mean, she said I can help. Yes, she can. Yes, it can be created. She said she speaks Creole French, and I
Ah,
have that wants to help. Let's try. Whoa, hey, look,
okay.
you got someone in the
Okay.
comments. You need to give her your email address and at least talk about it because you sometimes when God is moving, is not the way you think. It's not the way you see it.
Absolutely not.
He's doing
Yeah.
it another way. And I mean,
Yeah.
Journey, thank you for joining. Journey of Life, if I'm saying it right. Yeah, you never
Yes.
know. This is a great
That's
conversation. I
yes.
don't even know
Yes.
how we got into this
Yeah.
conversation because we was going somewhere else with this conversation. But I do
Yeah.
believe that the Most High knows which way He wants to take this conversation, and you have someone there, and maybe give her your. Is that your email in front of the screen? That's her
That,
email address. So maybe
that's
you guys can talk later.
that's my
Um,
oh, she put it on,
that
she put hers on, or
no, I'm looking at yours. Is that Graceful Guidance?
that's my website.
That's her website.
If she could put in the, oh, I don't know if she feels comfortable putting her WhatsApp,
Well,
but
no,
email,
don't
if
do
she
that,
could
but
put, no, no,
give her your email address. How about that? With
she
your
can
email?
reach me.
Would that
She can, it'll come right to my email if she contacts me on
okay?
gracefulguidance.com.
Okay.
Yes.
So go ahead, Journey, and contact her there, and maybe you guys can talk about it. You never know what the Most High is doing, and I do believe that if I see a service, you know me, if I see a need, I'm creating it for myself. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
and you do
Yeah.
have a space for it if you need a space. I'm just saying. Um, so,
Yes,
but
yes. It's
we
it's
just
like the point I was trying to make is that it's layered,
uh-huh,
and I personally feel like there's a need
uh-huh,
100%. 100%.
absolutely.
There's so many special needs children here who aren't getting out, who aren't having the quality of life that they
Yeah,
could be having. They're kept
yeah,
indoors here
yes,
and
yes.
not be
In this
necessarily being given skills
Yeah, because
too.
they don't even have transportation. You don't have to, I don't see the
No,
buses, I don't see transportation. I don't see, how are they getting back and
no.
forth to the doctors? How are they getting back and forth to do anything? These kids
Seeing
are
back
either in
home.
bed, in the house, in the room, tucked away,
Yeah.
nice and safe, and staying out of sight, out of mind. I do remember I went out to Superview and I saw one family with their special needs child in a wheelchair. But I'm like, that's one, but I know there's more. I know that that's not the only one. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
more. So where are they? What's going on to why aren't we seeing them? But these are programs. And if we're talking to people that that this is your gift, we need you here because these are some
Yeah.
programs and not you just trying to do it by yourself, but a team of you guys,
It's a
a
team.
team and you
It's
specialize
a
in and
team.
you know your gifts and this is your gift. This is what you do. This because we do have one person here who's actually, has a special needs daughter in our group and
Yes.
she's been doing some things and hired so it's so it's things
Yeah.
being done but like transportation, you don't have transportation. You
No.
probably need adult daycare. You need a smaller daycare for children with special needs. You need adult daycare for children with special needs. So there are things that we need here that could be a great, because you said you were creating your business at home. I'm just saying this could be another way
Yeah.
of us.
And those were things that I looked about before I came. I thought, well, maybe I could be a provider here, but again, that requires residency, and that's a whole nother ballgame. So that's not possible at the time with the rules that they have here in Mauritius, but it doesn't mean that I can't help. Now, when I went to the day center to start volunteering, I did not know that that autistic young man would be there. That was not, that's not what was said to me. So I was pleasantly surprised to see him, and but as far as parents planning to come here, back to what we were saying, you just have to be willing to know that it's not going to be the same as home. We have everything under the sun just about for our special needs communities back home, all the way down to transportation, all the way down to vouchers, all the way down to medications, and our sidewalks are wheelchair friendly. They're not wheelchair friendly here. Yeah. And knowing that if you bring your child here, they will lose their disability.
And that right there, that right there is mind blowing, because no matter where, they're going to need to be taken care of. And also the young lady, Journey says, it's their culture. It's needed in the country. And we see there's a huge need here for anything working with disabilities, even elderly. Even the elderly going into homes, taking care. So if somebody is used to doing the elderly at home, they can actually come here and create their little.
We have to create it, because I did look into their carer. I think they call it carers here. Carers. We call it in-home providers. You have to be a resident to go get the training here. I was willing to do it. I was like, well, I've done that before. I couldn't be that much harder here. But so you have to be a resident.
If you got a residency visa or a resident, you couldn't do it with a work permit?
Not to my understanding, no, because you have to go to the school and get the training. They have a school here that trains carers.
What happens if you have the training when you come? Can you use that training if you got it from the States online?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so, because I told them, I said, I've been trained in this, and I don't think they understood, is what I'm saying. So, and I did actually speak to a school here before I left. Yeah. And you can get your residency, but that's going to take some time too. You're looking at, at least 5 years out. You can't get it right away. You know how the hoops are. You have to work the steps just like everybody. So again, there are some barriers. It doesn't mean that it can't be done though. It just, I think it's about who you know, and really getting past some of this, because I worked with a couple. You met this couple, the couple that we purchased the trikes from. They have an autistic child and wanted services, but I think culturally, it's just still a little bit too. They don't know what to do with that, and what does that mean, and how can they help, and what can this person really come in and do? And sometimes, it's just really understanding that I may not be able to change your child, but I can get your child out into the community and spend time with them, and let them integrate with the world around them. Take them to the beach. It's just, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. And so it doesn't, it doesn't have to be anything big deal. It's just giving that and giving the parents respite. That's
Sometimes you need that break. Even with, kids that aren't special needs, you need that break. You be like looking like, look, I need to, at least give me 15 minutes, give me 30 minutes. So this person said we can do it. And then you say you have to understand them, get their trust. Yes. So that's, I believe, I believe that anything is possible. There's, to do anything. Long as it's legal. We're not talking about breaking laws. We still maintain. People say, "Well, hold on, no, I want to make sure y'all understand. We're not talking about doing nothing illegal." But I think there is a need, and it is who you know here. And I do believe that we have to be connected to the right people, and the Most High knows those people. And sometimes he
Yes.
will put those people in your path. And that is the prayer, that he will put you into wherever it is he wants you, and whoever the people is to help you to get there, he will put those people in your path for
Yes.
you to meet, so
Um,
that you guys can do what needs to be done.
yeah. And you know, to your point about hearing the voice of God, this situation's no different than leaving a little one at home. Again, I say learn from me, because I would change how I did that. For me, it wouldn't have been hard, because my spouse would have been okay. My former spouse would have been very okay with it. And just even, but the monkey wrench was him losing the special needs, you know, his benefits and the things that really would make it hard for me to even be here. So that's where I left it. I regret it. And I'm just being honest about that. I'm just being transparent, because that's a real emotion that if you have a special needs child and you go through that, you're going to feel regret. You're just going to.
Yeah.
And so, you have to be able to financially take care of them while you're here. And my son's a big guy. He's going to eat, and there's going to be expenses. And he had, you know, I wouldn't be able to live where I live right now. I would have to get another spot for him. Or maybe I could, just based on the circumstances here, there's another vacancy, and he can live independently, but you have to know your child, and if it's doable for you. And if it's not, go to the father again, say, how do you want us to do this? You know, my child, what can we do? Especially, oh my gosh, especially if your child has special medications, that's going to be an issue here. It's very difficult even to get ADHD medicine. It's difficult here.
Wow. Do they know it here?
They do, but it's very difficult to get it. Very hard. Hoops. Or if your child has special things like a trachea tube, or, you know, any of those type of medical equipment, that's where I say, make sure you heard from the Lord about coming here.
And make sure you do your research on wherever it is that you're planning to go, or, you know, and I do believe that, here we go again, if he's telling you to go somewhere, he's already worked that thing out. You're not going to have to do a whole lot of hoops, because he's going to already, you just have to walk it out. Sometimes you just got to walk it out, especially if he say, okay, I want you here. Okay, this is where you want me. Okay, let's write it out and walk it out. You know, and as you walk out, he will open those doors and put you with the right people. I just believe that. I believe that that's how he works. He's not going to send you somewhere and then your door here won't open, this door won't open, this door. That's not, to me, that's not him. If you have 15 doors that slam in your face, every time you look around, it's something we missing something. You know,
which you know, I went through that going here, you know, all the way up until just recently, just in the past couple of weeks, every door was closing, every door. So I went through that. Did I hear you right? And that's a reality. Sometimes we have to eat humble pie, you know, that maybe I misinterpreted timing. Maybe I misinterpreted location even. And that's the other thing too, you know, if the father is calling you, it doesn't have to be Mauritius. Maybe he wants you to go to a more special needs friendly country, and they have them. It doesn't have to be Mauritius. Maybe, you know, it could be somewhere else that you maybe need to research that's a little bit better fit for your family.
And always doing research just to make sure that that's what you're hearing. Because I knew, for me, I knew when I saw Journey with Us, and that's why I watch all the time. And when they kept talking about it, because I was in his face, okay, I knew you want me to move. Where are we going? Where am I supposed to be going? And every place was, you know, like I said, okay, Tanzania. Then they had the uprising. Then Kenya, they had the uprising. So every place I was naming that I knew that was familiar, it was like, no, it was a no-go, because either it was an uprising or it was something that was going on in that spot. When I heard about Mauritius, that for me, it was like, oh my God, it was like a light bulb for me. It's like, oh, wow, hold on here. Let me look that up. And I heard it where it was like, yes, that's it. For me, in my spirit, I knew that was where he was taking me. Now, who knows what he's doing in the future, but I know for now, this was it for me. I have planned in Malindi. I'm like, okay, well, that could be that could be somewhere later down the line. Who knows? But I'm open for wherever it is that he's taking me. That would be, you know, would be. And somebody said South Johannesburg. For me, that's a big fat no. I'm just saying.
What did they say?
South
What did they
Africa.
say?
South Africa.
Oh, yes.
For me, because of the uprising there. For me right now, I think South Africa for me is just like a miniature America. And for me,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
me. I'm just saying, this is personal. This is Kathy's. This is nobody else's. This is how I feel. If I'm gonna go and spend time at another America, I'm going back to America. I'm
Yeah.
not going to be
Yeah.
in another country that's with apartheid and all this other stuff. That's it's really for special needs. Even with that, do you even want to go through that hassle? If it is this, if it is South Africa, that could be a
Right.
thought.
Yeah.
But like I
Yeah.
said, we're gonna do our research to find out where it is
Do
he's
the
sending you.
research
Yes,
for
you
the
have to
best
do research.
infrastructure for your
Yes,
families. And South
the
Africa
best.
does have a good infrastructure. They do.
Mhm,
But it's
mhm.
that personal, like, is this going to be the right culture that for me and my situation that I want to
Right.
integrate with?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And that's so important because you have to understand, what's going on in South Africa and where they came from. You have apartheid. You got a whole lot of stuff going on right now,
Yeah.
where they're already kicking out the Ghanaians and you're kicking out the different people. I haven't heard them kicking out the Americans yet. I haven't heard that, but I know the Nigerians and the Ghanaians, they're having the issue. So even right
Yeah.
now with that, I would be like, let me just see where he's really leading me. And it could be there. Who knows? We just have to get in his face to understand, okay, what's the
Yeah.
area, what's the direction, and the doors set to open. If he opening doors, then that might be where he wants you. You just never know. But
Yes. Yes.
we have to be so
Yes.
prayerful and recognizing the voice. And like I keep telling people, it's got to line up to the word. You don't have the word for nothing. The word is the word. You can't let somebody come and tell you that your husband is a husband and that's not the word. You know what I'm saying? Because I've heard women say that, about somebody else's husband. I'm like, how's it, how'd you hear it? How are you hearing that? I'm just saying it's got to line up. You cannot come out the blue and come out of left field and just pulling at strings and because it's something you want and then you hear a
Yeah.
voice. Okay, we got to recognize. And he said, try the fruit by the fruit. You got to hear it and try it with the fruit. You have to see what fruit you see following that. Okay. If you see a lot of mess following it, that's probably not God, but you have to be
Right.
honest. And if you tell God, okay, show me, and he starts showing you some stuff you don't want to see, you can't just walk around, okay, that's probably not what he said. No, you have to be honest and face the facts and face if this is really something he's telling you to do or not. So we have to be
Right.
honest with ourselves to understand, okay, this is what I heard. Let me line it up. Where's the word? Line it up. Okay. Try
Yeah.
the spirit with the spirit. You have to
Yeah.
understand and decipher that. You can't just assume
Yes.
and get details.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll give you one, just like Abraham. He gave him one step. And I do believe that if Abraham had not stepped out on that one step, I don't think he would have got the second and the third step. Sometimes he will give you one just to see what you're going to do. Are you going to trust me to sound, okay, I hear the one step. What do I need to do? And line it up and do it. Sometimes we just have to
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
And then he'll open up the other steps for you as you do the first
Yeah.
step. Sometimes some
Yes.
people looking for the whole plan. Sometimes he don't give you the whole plan. Sometimes he'll give you that one step. So as you do that one step, then you get the second step, then you get the third step. And that's how we did with Abraham, right? Gave him one step, go. Okay.
Yeah.
And Abraham
Yeah.
started going, right? He didn't know.
Yeah.
He just started moving, right? So that's
Right.
sometimes what we have to do. Sometimes you may not get the whole picture. And that's what we have
Yes.
to be careful to be obedient
Mhm.
to move, even if you don't have the whole plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely be open to that. But also in his faithfulness, he's going to give you exactly what you need. And I think about how Jacob, didn't want to go back to his homeland. He was afraid to do that, but God gave him all the steps before to get that whole thing softened and ready so that he could restore with Esau. And it just, he's faithful in whatever he's
Yeah.
calling you to do, and definitely test the word, because you know what, even when someone gives a prophetic word and it's a prophetic word straight from the throne, does not necessarily mean it's for you. And so it could be for someone else, or maybe it's a word that you need to pay attention to that will come to pass later. I mean, definitely sit with the Father and really, really, especially with a move like this.
Yes. And it's so
Because
important.
if you
It's
listen
so
to other people,
important.
he'll have you in places and spaces. If you listen to other people, you can be in places and spaces you don't need to be,
Right.
even if
Right.
it's a good word.
Yep. And it's so important doing this to be able to hear and make sure that you're where you need to be. Because if you're not,
And the timing.
yes, timing. Oh my God,
Yeah.
timing is everything. If you're hearing, okay, now when's the timing? And I do believe that he'll line that up for you also. He will
Yep.
line it up.
Yeah.
You know,
And we're
we just
watching
have
that now, even with the expats coming in here now,
yeah, yeah,
some couldn't leave any sooner than what they could. And the Father's so
yeah,
gracious. Everything's fine. They're here. It's okay,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
And it's, yep.
And there's
And who
still
knows?
more people coming.
More people
I know
coming.
people who have heard that word and they're not coming to Mauritius. They're going to another country, but they know when they need to leave. And
Mhm.
these are people I know here from the Most High. So I'm like, you're going to be fine. It's
Yeah,
going to be
I do
okay.
believe that. Yep, I do believe that if he's telling you to go somewhere,
Hmm.
then that is, and you're going to be fine. And like you said, I don't believe that he's going to send you somewhere and then the bottom's going to fall out. That's not, no, he's not going to put you in danger. He's going to make a way and he's going to keep you covered. And I do believe
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you. Thank you, Journey. She's amazing. Journey, thank you. Yeah. So any more thoughts as far as are we missing any points are we missing any points here?
No, I was going to add though that, just in being vulnerable and being open with people, that my regret with leaving my son, I'm still praying and trusting in the Father as the God of the impossible, that he will make a way, even financially for me to get him over here. Because while my son would lose his benefits in that country, I know that the Father will provide everything if I can get him here. And I'm still going to the Father for that.
Mhm.
If it is your will, please make a way for him to get here and
Exactly. And I
give
do.
me the resources to get him here. And that is possible. It is possible. It's
Yeah.
doable.
Yes.
It's just circumstances and aligning finances up. It's an expensive trip to make. But and he couldn't come by himself. He would have to have somebody bring him. So, the arc is not closed, is what I'm saying.
Right. Right. And I think this right here is a test for you. This is a faith walk right here. And sometimes, and that's how he deals with us, sometimes it's a faith walk.
Yeah.
It may not look right in the beginning, but the
Mhm.
more you in it, the more you walking that thing out, you see the different pieces coming into play, and you go, oh, okay. But at first, that thing looked real crazy. In the beginning, it looked like, oh my God, I don't know what am I doing on this ledge here? And then you're looking down, but okay, trust me or not, do you trust me? Did you believe? If you believe in that this is what I told you to do, you have to. Sometimes you got to walk blindfold. Sometimes you got to close your eyes and just walk. Take a step, one step at a
Yeah.
time, and trust him. And just depending on how he's dealing with you, where you're at with the Father, or what he's trying to teach you, where he's taking you. So only some of the stuff is only you know it. He's not telling anybody else. Because some people say, well, I'll talk to my sister about it. And I'm like, some stuff is not for your sister. Some stuff is not for your cousin. Some stuff is only for you to kind of walk and figure it out as the Most High is giving it to you. Because some stuff won't even sound right. And you'll tell your friend and she'll be like, girl, you crazy. And then you start looking at yourself like you're crazy. But that really is what he told you to do. But because you're looking for other people's approval in what the Most High has the plan for your life, that sometimes will mess you up also. So we do have to make sure you're not asking other people, well, I heard God do, he told me to go stand on that ledge for a couple hours a day, even if it rains. Then people gonna look at you, well, why are you on the ledge? So that right there is a distraction. So if you heard him say something, you gotta go back to him and say, okay, this is what I heard. I just want to clarify, making sure. Can you give me some kind of confirmation that I'm on the right track here, so that I don't want to go to ask other people, because other people are not gonna hear your plan, his plan for you. Other people listening for their plan for them. So we have to be very careful sharing this type of information with people, because it may not make any sense sometimes. And sometimes if he got you standing on the corner with one leg, you like, okay, God, why am I standing out here in this corner near this light? Maybe one leg or not, but you're still on the corner, but near the light. And he may tell you to stand there for, a couple hours. You just never know. But to them, it's going to sound crazy. But to you, I'm trusting you no matter what. It doesn't matter what it looks like. I'm going to stand here as long as you tell me to. And then you'll understand later why he told you to stand in that certain spot. Could have been somebody coming through, or, you just never know. Anything is possible. But we have to be able to hear and be obedient, because sometimes it's going to be that obedience is going to save your life. And at the times where we're going now, you're going to have to be able to hear it, because you may be someplace and it may not be a safe place. And you may hear her say, move, go down 1 block. And that down 1 block at this certain time, you listen, you do it, you're good. But if you don't, and timing is everything. If you don't hear at that time, you don't move right then. And when he told you to, and something happens, maybe a truck gonna come on that little corner, or maybe something gonna fall out the ceiling on that one, that timing. So you got to hear, because if you're not hearing, it could be a matter of life and death for you sometimes.
Yes.
And I've seen these people in these commercials, well, on YouTube or Facebook, where they move just in time. What if they didn't? I always tell them, look, you don't have to have my permission. If you want me to move, just move. You don't need to tell me to do it, because I may miss it. I may miss it, just not. I'm being transparent, because sometimes I'll be like, I can hear for everybody else. Sometimes it's harder to hear for yourself. Do you feel that it's harder to hear for yourself sometimes, Lorraine, and you hear better for other people? But when it comes to you, it's like, you look around, hey, I need to really be on the point here. Do you feel like that sometimes, or no?
I've certainly been in scenarios where I, thought that I was hearing better for someone else. But I really do try to stay in my lane. I really do. I really try not to hear for others. So in general, no, but I've certainly been in those places and spaces where it's easier to hear for other people. But as of late, I've definitely gotten to where I am like, telling the Father, I can only hear you right now. I understand what you have for so-and-so and what you've told so-and-so, but what are you telling me? And what does that look like? And how crucial that is, to your point.
And even as far as, now I'm gonna tell you, as far as me, if he ever tell you, tell Cassie so please tell me. Don't be saying, well, I'm not gonna tell her. I need you to tell, because sometimes
yes, I would. If the Father said to tell you, oh yes, I would. Yeah, I would.
Sometimes he will, because you may be that confirmation for somebody.
Yeah, sometimes.
So sometimes it's a confirmation. That person already know, and you just confirming that thing, and you don't even know. Sometimes you just speaking out the blue, and he's giving you that confirmation, giving them that confirmation for something that you said. So that, but I still be wanting to hear from myself also, because some people will tell you something, but my thing is, I believe he uses other people, but I do believe that a lot of times it's a confirmation when somebody does come and tell you anyway.
Yes, most certainly. I'm just mindful of that. I have been in scenarios where people said the Holy Spirit told them, and I knew that the Holy Spirit didn't tell them that. And, I have, and, they love the Lord, but I was just like, no, the Holy Spirit didn't tell you that. And sometimes it's delivery, sometimes it's timing. I'm very sensitive to that, and kind of giving people what I think that they should be doing. I'm very sensitive to that. So if the Lord really told me to tell you something personally, Cassie, believe me, he told me. Because I'm not going to necessarily tell you what I think you should be doing. That's not my place. But if the Father said, hey, what did I tell you to tell her? Then okay.
So that's how you gotta do it for your, a couple times. Look, tell her, look, don't let her miss it.
You see, she's over there. And what did I tell you to say the other day?
Okay. See, you know what? We're gonna talk after the show here. I'll make sure. It's so important to hear, though. We just want to make sure that we are on the same page. It's, you're doing, because this is a big move. This is a big move, and I'm sure this is not the biggest move. It's gonna be other bigger moves. Okay, even in the States right now, people are hearing. They're not. People. A lot of people, aren't hearing, and and I don't know why. We don't know why, but it's like, okay, God, if you want me to do something, I need to make sure that I'm hearing. I want, and sometimes we want precise instructions. I don't just want him to just say, okay, move 1 foot here, and then I'm moving on 1 foot. Then I'm kind of like, how you play the little box game. You standing there waiting for the next instruction. And that's what he'll do for you. He won't give it all to you, but we still have to be obedient. And sometimes we just have to start looking for miracles and supernatural. And that's where I am right now. I love the miracles I love to walk out and see the miracles and the supernatural. You go, oh my God, really amazing, because that's the way we should be. That's how we should be looking. That's how we should be moving right now. We're looking for the greater things, right? Because he said greater works, right? Okay, well, what are the greater things that we're supposed to be expecting and walking into? I look for that. I look to see, okay, how, things, you looking at it one way and then it starts turning around another way. You'd be like, oh, that's what that was. I love this. I love that. That's on purpose for me. I look for stuff to happen on purpose like that. And just depending on the type of personality that you have, my personality, he knows everything. I look for the supernatural. I do. I wake up looking for it every day. I go out walking. I'm looking for, just things, just objects and stuff that nobody else will see. Cassie's gonna see it, and that's so amazing. Because I was walking the other day, and I'm looking at this wall, right, and I see this itty bitty thing on this wall, and I'm like, "What is that?" So I look at the wall. Nobody else in the world would see these keys on a wall. I'm like, "What does this keys mean?" Every time I walk past them, I'm looking at these keys. I'm like, "Who put those keys there? What does those keys mean? And why am I seeing those keys? And why did I see them?" I'm crazy. Because nobody else probably saw those keys but Cassie. But I see stuff like that. And I'm like, what does it mean? And I'm still after him to see, what does the keys mean? And it really is keys that on a ring, and I'm looking at these keys and I'm like, what does that mean? But yeah. So I'm just saying, we have to be so careful to make sure and that every voice that's talking to you, and it's all about training your voice, training your ears to hear his voice, because he said, my sheep hear, right?
Practice.
Okay, no other voice still follow, right? We have to practice that, practice. And sometimes it'll get so to you, you'll get so into tune with it that it'll be automatic.
Yes, because you're not going to get it right every time. And the thing is that, the Father is so merciful and so gracious. Even if we wobble through it and maybe we did get it wrong, he's still going to help you make it right. He's still going to put you on solid ground, And I was even willing to have that conversation with him. Maybe I did misinterpret. Maybe I wasn't supposed to go to Mauritius. Maybe I was supposed to sit with it a little longer. Maybe I was supposed to go somewhere else. And I said, but if I did, Father, I'm here now. Can you help me? Can you show me what I need to do? I've had those conversations but again, sitting with him and knowing him and having a relationship with him, I felt comfortable enough to say with him, I'm not perfect. We're all on the potter's wheel. None of us are in our glorified state. So you're the one who sits high and you're the one who knows this is your thing. So, if I got it wrong, what do you want to do about it? What are you telling me? What do you want me to do now that I'm here? And I'm just using the Mauritius example. It could be anything. Maybe you took a wrong job, and help him to, ask him, okay, well, I thought I was supposed to work here. It looks like I wasn't. So what do you want to do? Do you want me to stay here for another few months, or do you want me to put my notice in? And he is so faithful. He will show you. And he knows he's not sitting over you with a condemnation stick and expecting you to, expecting you to say, well, you didn't get that right, and that's not his heart. And I see him like that all the time. And I have definitely been listening gently to him, and he deals with me very gently. And I know with other people, he does not. Some of his children, he's got to get them up at the back of their neck. I've never been like that. So
I prefer not to be like that. I prefer not to, because I'm like, look, God, I'm not here, and I need you to pay. Look,
just tell me it's cool. It's cool.
Push me on over there. It's okay. I do not need the walls to fall in, the floor to fall out.
No.
So dig my way out of no, I do not need to dig out of that the building that collapsed on top of my head. No, if it's something I need, I give you permission to I'm there. Just look up and I'm there. And sometimes that happens. I don't need to make decisions, because sometimes I don't make the best decisions. I'm just saying, because I'm very emotional.
Exactly.
And
That's
I
exactly
will make
what
the
I'm
wrong
saying.
choice. And I'm like, God, I do not want to make the wrong choice. I need you to make it happen for me. Just make it happen. Look up there. And I'll be like, wow, how did I get here? Okay, thank you. Because that's the relationship we have, okay?
Yes. And like you were saying, if he tells you to do something, and just sit with it and wait, even if he didn't tell somebody else. And I have found that, there have been times when I thought I heard something, and if I wait a few days, I'll get peace about something and a door will open. Sometimes it's not, 9 times out of 10, it's not right away.
Man, and I'm gonna tell you, I
But
found out. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go
oh,
ahead.
no, you didn't really. I was just saying that, his voice is peaceful, and it there's a peace that comes over you. Now, I'm not saying sometimes he won't say, now listen, I'm not going to say it again. There are instances of that. We know that. But I think
Yeah,
in general, his voice is
yeah,
just like it says in the word. It's a still small voice. He doesn't have to holler at us. That's
no,
just not, no, no.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
peaceful,
yeah.
and it will fall in line, even if it's just one, even if he just lights the path on one little step that you need to take.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's peaceful. It's peaceful.
Yes, and even with that, I remember a time where if I'm supposed to make a decision, right, and it feels like it's rush, and I'm feeling all jittery, and I'll be like, nope, hold
Nope.
on, back up. That's no doing it. Not nope. I have
That's too
learned that,
much.
honey. I'm like, no, because it's just the
Yeah.
decision that you're making, and you just keep making. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, what is all of this going on? And I hate to be put in that situation because sometimes it's something that you really want, but it's not the right thing at the right time. And if you back up,
Right.
you're gonna get a better at a better time. Okay. And I've had that to
Yes.
happen to me.
Yes.
And I had a decision to make, and I was like, oh my God. And I felt rushed. And I was like, back up, hold on. What's going on here? Hold on. Let's put the brakes on. Put the brakes on, and
Yeah.
then I found something better, much better. And I
Yes.
was like, wow, that's what that struggle was. It's gotta be peaceful. It's gotta be peaceful.
Yes.
Gonna
Yes.
have you moving like on a whim like this. That's not him. If it
Yeah.
feels
No.
it's feel like I got to get in there, make some moves. Nope,
Yeah.
not him.
No.
Got to back up and
Mm-mm.
just be patient and hold on. 'Cause that's not it. Not
Yes.
it. But
Yes.
any last words? We're gonna wrap it up here. Any last
Yeah.
words, or anything that we didn't cover that you still wanted to cover or make
Mm,
clearer?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Nothing's coming to mind. I just, other than just go to God for yourself.
Mhm,
Just go to him for yourself. Even if someone said the Lord told them, because
mhm,
the Lord may have told them, but just still
mhm.
go to him and
Yeah,
say,
it's
"Hey,
for
this is what they said to me.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about it."
yeah,
And just sit with it and wait till you
yeah,
get that peaceful
yeah.
confirmation.
Get that peaceful confirmation, because sometimes people be hearing stuff, and we're not saying that they did. We're not saying that they didn't, but I myself, because I remember, never mind. But anyway, I just need to hear for myself. That's all I'm saying. I don't like,
Yeah.
they can tell me yes, I'm good, but it's for me a lot of times it's a confirmation and not something new. You know what I'm saying? It's something
Yes.
I already know
Yes.
or heard, and I'd be like, okay, that's the agreement. That's how he works for me. I don't know how he works
Yes.
with everybody else, but for me, I'm sitting
Yeah.
there, and it's gonna come. And then sometimes me and the other person, say for instance, it's with another person, they'll hear it at the same
Hmm.
time I heard it, and we come to the
Yes.
same time, and that's like, oh my
Yes.
God,
Yes.
that right there is
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. That is the same
Yeah.
accord. That's great. But even when it's not that, it was me making a rash decision. I'm not making a rash decision. If I feel like I'm rushed, I'm not doing it. Not today.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
trained myself in that part to where I have to have that peace. If I have that
Mhm.
peace,
Mhm.
it's gonna work.
Mhm.
If it's not peace, then I'm not doing it. So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
Yes.
but I do appreciate you, Mr. Ray. I want you to give out your
Yeah.
information again, your email, all of the information that you need to give. And because I appreciate you, we're going to continue doing this on Thursdays. Here, I
Yes.
think it's like 6 o'clock in the States. It's usually about 1 or 2 o'clock here. We'll come on between 1 and 2. But
Mhm.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to me.
Oh,
Um, so we can kind of kick it around a little bit,
yeah.
because I think
Yeah.
this is great information people need to understand. Even moving abroad, you still have to
Mhm.
hear, to make
Yeah.
sure that you're putting things in place, to make sure that you're coming to the right space, to make sure you're coming at the right time, to make sure that I've heard to where sometimes you might want to use one person, and he said, don't use that person and use this person. So my thing is, we have to be able to
Yes.
hear, because that person, if you go and use that person anyway, it could have been where they were going to be in an accident, or something, anything, or
Yeah.
they were going to
Yeah.
overcharge you, or their heart wasn't right, or something. Because you
Yes.
have to be able to be obedient to get the right deal, and he gonna make sure you get the right deal. He's not gonna put
Yeah.
you in doing all kind of crazy cheating folk and everything else. No, that's not how he works. No,
And
we
and
have to.
even with situations here, he will bring people in your path and remove them.
Yes, 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 he will. Yes. A lot of times,
Because he
just
will work through people that
yeah,
he's not
yeah,
intending to keep in your path. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Sorry.
He'll move right out.
Go
They
ahead.
were
Go
just there
ahead.
for a minute. They were just there
Yeah.
for a minute, and they did what they needed to do. It wasn't to stay. And sometimes we be trying to keep him as friends, and he's like, "No, I just want just for the minute, just for the moment." So we have to be able to understand and hear even that. Stop trying to,
Yeah.
meet people today and you clank it up and thinking they're supposed to be there for the next 10, 20 years. Sometimes that's not it. But once he tells you
Yeah.
to, you have to go ahead and part. And sometimes it'd be so cool. You'd be like, God, I really like them. He's like, I understand, but it just for a minute. Now let's move on. Or, let's do something different. I got something
Yes.
totally planned. So they going this way, you're
Yeah.
going this way. And it's okay to do that. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just be
Yeah.
obedient. Just hear and be obedient and walk it out. Just walk it out. And sometimes, like you said, just sit with it. Just sit with it for a minute. And because my thing is, my prayer is, God, I don't want nothing that you don't want from me. I don't want for myself. Because I know it's too hard.
Absolutely.
I don't want
Absolutely.
anything that he does not want me to have. And I be saying, don't even present it to me. Because Cassie will think, oh, it's a blessing. I'm walking in. Oh, that's a blessing. And I'm gonna take it. I'm just saying. No, I don't want you to even offer it to me. You know it's something. Hit my ass, Lord. Please do not give it to me. You know it ain't good for me because I will take it. Knowing.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
to really be careful and obedient and really
Yeah.
hear what the Most High is telling us to do.
Absolutely.
Get the
Yes.
full instructions. And sometimes if you say move, just move.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you
Mm-hmm.
may not get the full instructions, but get whatever it is he's giving you, but just be sure, line it up with the word, line it up. God, I need to see this word. Show me where I've seen it. Show me what it is, show me where that is so that I can understand what
Absolutely.
what's next step of what we're doing
Absolutely.
here. But I do appreciate
Yes.
you for coming,
Thank
saying everything.
you. Thank
Yeah, I'm
you.
gonna let you tell them where your websites and all that good stuff, and then we're gonna end with that.
Yes. So Graceful Guidance, all lowercase ministries.com. You can reach out to me there and it'll come directly to my email. You can also find me on YouTube at Graceful Guidance. I've been posting a little bit of my journey. I've also been doing writing on Substack, posting my journey here in Mauritius and some of the more, I guess, emotional side of moves and the piece that not a lot of people are talking about. So I do a lot of writing on Substack for that. And I do have a Facebook, Graceful Guidance, where I also post some of the live streams that I have done from Graceful Guidance and just some encouraging things that I put on Graceful Guidance. I don't always post videos. Sometimes it's just an encouraging word. And sometimes it's something that someone else shared that I wanted to share with others. So, but you can contact me at gracefulguidanceministries.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so
Of course.
and of course, everybody, you guys come here, and I hope on Thursdays, make sure you hit the bell, make sure so that you'll know when we come live again. So that if you don't get up at 6 a.m. to see it, you can see it a little later that day, or you can see it on the weekend. We're not,
Yeah.
but I do appreciate everybody that tuned in. Miss Journey of Life, we're looking forward to hearing from you. I hope I said your channel
Yes,
right.
absolutely. Please reach out.
Thank you for your input. I thank you for the connection. I thank you for your comments. I appreciate anybody and everybody that even that didn't show up right now, that's going to show up later. I appreciate you taking the time out to check in. Have a great day, and we'll check you out on next Thursday.
God bless.
And bye for now.
Bye.